What's up, great informer? What up? Oh. Great informer is in a great mood. Yeah. Bringing that positivity into the chat. Love it. Enlightened Jess. Enlightened Jess in the house. What's up, Jess? Ah, sleepwalking in here. Must listen. Oh, darling, I'm sorry. You're probably supposed to be sleeping. Well, I ain't gonna be singing no lullaby tonight, so what I will be doing is spitting a version of my truth. My truth. A variation of things that I believe. I don't know. Probably not all that deep, but definitely going to cover a few topics. Spoke in a little bit earlier based off Robert Wallace's video where he got, they lost power. Like in the entire region, lost power, complete blackout. And he's dealing with that now. So we're going to call him in just a little bit. And we're going to talk to him and check in and see how he's doing, because he can't even actually watch what we're doing right now. I mean, he has no service, but when I call him, he'll know that he's on live, and then he'll be able to view the video later. Anyway, nice of you all to be here. We'll call him in a bit. A lot going on in the news cycle, right? You guys been following? Lots going on. Maybe lots of more subtle type giveaways. I mean, they're giving it away. You're seeing it. The Great Awakening, it's all happening. It's very subtle. There's things that aren't so subtle, like Adam Schiff imploding. He's imploding. But there are things that are subtly moving along that are turning the tide massively towards a Trump 2020 victory. And don't you let up. Don't you let up. Don't you think for a second that you're not going to vote. You put that foot on the gas pedal and you push it down, and we burn fucking rubber all the way through the finish line of 2020 and beyond. There's other elections after that, but these are the ones. This is the one that's going to change the course of history. We've already done the first one, and that was putting the man in office. He's already set the table. It's about to be a magnificent feast. We're about to get fat, dumb, crazy, and happy and freed. We're about to be there, but we got to put the man in for the next 4 years. So don't you let up for a second. I'm not gonna. Don't let up. We got to put Trump in there and make sure he's in there so that we can stick the landing. Stick the landing.
That's what we want to do. What's up, Food Stamp? Nice to see you. We need to stick the landing. Right? Trump 2020. We got to move forward. Lots going on. Lots of federal court judges being put into positions put out there by the Trump administration. The Trump DOJ is putting these judges where they have to be. They are getting through because we hold the majority in the Senate, 53-47. 53 Republican Senate lead is by Republican to 47. That's the only reason that these judges are being put through. That's why the Senate was so important in the last midterm elections in November. As I've said before, I think that the House was allowed to be taken and given to the Democrats so that they could expose themselves for what we're witnessing right now. The absolute buffoons. The buffoons that they have shown themselves to be and continue to. They are imploding even before the airwaves. Not lots, but there are some, like the Washington Post gives Adam Schiff's recount of everything, 4 Pinocchios, whatever the fuck that is. I mean, what a shit way of saying the dude lied his ass off. Oh, you got 4 Pinocchios. 4 Pinocchios. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Consequences, I have none. I have a big nose. 4 Pinocchios. Dude, you lied, man. Lied. Some bitch. Lied. Pinocchios. You give this man a Pinocchio nose, the whole world will be out of order. Okay? Absolutely, Food Stamp. Coup. Coup d'etat. No longer an impeachment. It's a coup, my friend. You know this. Great comment. It's a coup, baby. It's a coup, baby. Why gotta be so crazy when you're down with me? Blah, 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 blah. Mm-mm. It is a coup. They're trying to make it a takeover, Food Stamp. Food Stamp, as usual, over the target, dropping bombs of wisdom. So true, Food Stamp, so true. They're trying to make it a takeover. We're not going to let them. We're not going to let them. That shit ain't happening. Ain't never going to happen for you. Deep State, ain't going to happen for you. It ain't going to let it happen. Oh, we're not going to take it. No, we ain't going to take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. No. We'll fight for something. And if that's your best won't do. Yeah, man, this stuff is all coming full circle. Boomeranging. What a great term. Great term that was learned by us in the Q movement months and months and months and months and many months ago. 2019, year of the boomerang. You recall that, Patriots? You recall hearing that in late 2018? Or maybe early 2019. It was right in there, early in the year, as we are in the month of October. You're the boomerang. That meant shit's coming back round. And the very things that they have accused the Trump administration of doing, they are guilty of themselves. That's why they can argue it so passionately and without losing a wink of sleep. They know the playbook. They know the playbook inside and out. They wrote the playbook. They are the playbook. The one thing the one thing. The many, many, many things that they're trying to place on Trump are, in fact, comically, transgressions that they are committing and have committed over many decades as this country was pretty much sold off in bits, chunks, bytes, pieces, uranium one, many other different levels to how this country has been sold off and hedged, and it's ridiculous. The United States has lifted up and made many, many countries so much money, while the world is in squalor overall. I think what happens when this is all done is that the living arrangements for many in the world will be uplifted because they're going to take the central bank system out of this. It goes beyond human trafficking. You have to cut off the head of the snake, which is the money system. So as much as I'm enjoying the show and eating the popcorn and loving how maybe the last of these attacks are about to implode very soon in the next week or two against President Trump, I'm really looking forward to Act Two, which is going to be President Trump taking away the central bank system, the IMF. It's all going to have their legs chopped off, which is good for you and good for me. Yes, sir. And it is. Because it takes us away from being under the authority of the banksters. They'll still be lending. It will just be done credibly and much cleaner through our own federal U.S. Treasury, which is a part of our government. It's who issues all of our coins. All the time I've told you that the Federal Reserve isn't any more federal than Federal Express. It's no part of the government. Even while they're issuing all of those dollar bills and all those 5s, 10s, and 20s and 50s and $100 bills, as they did that, all of the change that's in your pocket or in your jar or wherever you put your change, maybe in a Coinstar, that's all issued by the U.S. Treasury. That's real money, according to the U.S. So you're going to see in Act Two us going to a probably gold-backed money system. Probably. Don't quote me. And I don't want to put the horse in front of the carriage. Or, yeah, is that how that goes? I don't know. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. Let's go back to what's going on with Trump right now and Adam Schiff and everything blowing up in Adam Schiff's world. This shit's imploding in front of them right now. We were told this was going to be a Red October. I thought it was a year ago because we were told Red October a year ago. Right now, it seems plausible. Really, it does. This is Red October. He is in the middle of blackouts right now where he lives in, the northern part of California where they're suffering blackouts. So he evidently still has power and still has an ability to post a video. However, can't link into this tonight. So let's call him and see how he's doing for a minute. Okay? You guys doing good? It's nice to see you. I'll give him a little heads up. I'll just say, call him. Yeah. Because you're not watching. What's up with you guys? So Enlightened Jess, are you I mean, you pretty much doing the same thing, being a fantastic mother, getting through life, feeding the chickens, walking the ranch, doing your thing, cooking awesome breakfasts, all that stuff. I hope you're doing good, Jess. It's so nice to see you. Really. It is. So it's very welcome to see you. You're such an awesome person. All right. Let's see what Mr. Robert Wallace is doing. There he is. All right. Nobody better ever block me. That would make me upset. If you guys have any questions for Robert, I will try to watch the chat while he talks and see if there's anything I can ask him on your behalf. So, hello. There we go. Okay, that's better. I'm going to ask the most tremendous interview ever. It's going to be probably the best interview that's ever been given on YouTube in YouTube history. And I think that you know it, they know it, and pretty much everybody on the planet knows it, except for this guy. This guy's not answering his phone. He clearly knows not who's calling. So, should we leave him a message? Let's leave him a message, okay?
You may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Yes, if I understand this correctly, this is Mr. Robert Wallace. Very proud of you. I see that you are into truth and truthful things. And I'm glad that you like them, and I like them too. So I hope that this message finds you in like the greatest, probably the best ever mood that someone could actually experience while they're experiencing a mood, which I must say, out of a lot of people, I give a very positive and warm reaction to the mood that I give them. So I'm hoping on this day that you get to experience some of that love, and that it's fantastic and it's wonderful, and that pretty much it's everything that you could hope for. So though I want to say more, I probably won't. Have a great night. See ya. Eek. All right, I'm sorry. That's lame. I hope that he likes that. He probably won't. I may have to delete this video just based on that message. Horrendous. It's terrible. It's horrendous. It's the worst thing you could have ever said. Ever. But I digress. All right, let's try this guy one more time. One more time. I hope he does love that message, D. He's probably like, you were going to call me earlier, dude. I'm sleeping. I don't know what's going on, though. Okay. All right. So that's that. You know what? Quite honestly, his battery might have took a shit. I don't know. He told me that he had some real good powered cell solar power backups that were charging his stuff. And he and I spoke for a while earlier. Great conversation. Wow. We were both, when we were done, we were just like, we should have just like totally recorded this because everything just came out when we started talking. It was great. And so he's doing okay. He's not worried. He's not anything. The blackouts are happening. And he happens to be a prepper. And I think that that's something that is very admirable. I think a lot of us have it. I'm prepared for probably 3 days as far as like electricity and all that shit. I know I'm behind the game. I'm much more prepared with supplies and longevity and food, that kind of stuff. But I gotta work on my prep game too. I've done a lot of things great, and I got a lot of good things working, a lot of good stuff with water, but I do have to get better on that stuff. And I went shooting. I know I told you that, guys, that, man, that was fantastic. I loved it. Loved it. But those are important things to do if that's going to be a way of your life, part of your life. Anyway, let's see what old Bill wrote on his list tonight, because I actually tried to come up with a couple bullet points, and I don't know what they'll say. Maybe I'll read the chat real quick, just to see what you guys do. And then I'll get into it. A little bummed. Can't hear from Robert Wallace. I hope everything's cool out there. Lonnie W is food stamp. What's up, Lonnie? LW. It's LW up in here, up in here. I like it, man. I like food stamp a lot too, but that's, you know what? I'm gonna say this, man. One of my really, really, really great friends in life. His name is Lon. You know, I never call him Lonnie, but you know, he goes by Lon. And so anybody that carries that name so far with me is 1,000%. And you seem like that kind of cat. Food stamp Lonnie. Oh, maybe that's your new handle. Food stamp Lonnie. Or Lonnie food stamp. I like them both. You guys decide. What are you going to do? Man. Should I try Wallace one more time? I guess I would think that if he had service, he'd see I called him twice. So I'm not going to. He might be dealing with shit. He is in a blackout. Hopefully it ain't the freaking purge. Something like that. If it is, I know he'll be surviving, but I don't know. All right. So I was watching a little bit. You guys aren't saying too much in the chat with me. That's okay. No problem at all. Just wanted to check in. Prep game. You guys are having great conversations with yourself. I love it. That is cool. You got like real family stuff too. That's awesome. Oh, that's beautiful. I love seeing that. Jess, you bring sunshine to the chat. Yeah, Mel Monty, The Purge. I haven't seen any of those, but I know what it's about. I know what that's about. It seems pretty eerie. So I guess some news that's happened. Well, wait. We'll see. We'll see what you're saying. What are you saying, Joe Mama? Joe Mama. Who Mama that? And Joe Mama. Oh, too. It's always great seeing Joe Mama. Yeah, Joe Mama. Man, when I was getting heavily into prepping, I bought a lot of those little tea light candles, and I bought pottery, like the clay pots, and I bought some bread trays to make like loaves of bread in, and I'd line them with foil, and I'd put like 6 tea lights in there and light them, and then I'd put a small little copper, or not copper, potting pot. You know what I'm talking about, those clay pots. Small one on there, and that'd collect the heat and it'd come up through the hole. But then I'd buy a bigger one that went over top of that, but didn't quite cover both sides of the bread tray thing. And I take that back. The first one that you put on there, and you got to put a little foil to cover up the hole in the middle, because what it does is it brings it up and it forces all this heat into it, and then it pushes it down and up, and then when you have the bigger one over top, it funnels it up through that little hole, and it like creates a nice little heat. Plus you can put your hands on it. I swear, I've had it out there and done this. I've done this drill many times. You can put your hands on it and stuff. So if you had enough of them technically going in your house and shit, and it was like super cold, you could probably heat up a room with maybe 3 or 4 of those, like a small room that was just using tea lights, which are super cheap. So the key is having them. Or is that not what you meant? It might not even be what you meant. I went off on a little tangent there. Yeah. Melly Q. That's an interesting name. Melly Q. What's it mean? Or what's it for? I like it. I kind of like it. What is it? Hello, Robert Mel. Thanks for the warm welcome. Nice. Melly Q. That's great, Joe Mama. Yeah. Yeah. That's, hopefully never have to use that stuff. But I mean, it's always good to be prepared, right? I mean, you can take anything to a new level and get just way into it, and that's okay. But it's always good to have like the basics down. If you can't live 3 or 4 days off what you have in your immediate grasp, that's probably a problem. Maybe try to get together enough like soup cans and that kind of stuff, because at least be able to feed yourself and some water. Maybe water bottles. A 24 pack is like what, $2.49, $2.99, something like that. Take them, put them aside. There's literally no harm in just stacking a few things that you can sit on. That stuff's got a couple year shelf life. You got a gas stove, you got a way to heat it. I mean, you're good. Anyway. All right. So Trey Gowdy. Trey Gowdy was a Fox News contributor up until today, because it sounds like, and I don't, I think it's true, is that he agreed to be signed on to to President Trump as part of his legal counsel in everything that's been going on. Once he did that, Fox News fired him, which I don't know. Maybe they need to. I don't care. But what I'm saying is that out of all this, that Trey Gowdy, we've been told, is a patriot in the Q drops. Now, I can't tell you exactly what number it is, because that's not the type of show I do. All I can tell you is that I know it said it, and it's in there. Gowdy is a patriot. My theory, which isn't all that crazy and, like out of balance with what some of you might be thinking already. My theory is that his role in this great awakening, this masterful plan, had been decided for pretty much since Benghazi hearings, when he really showed that this guy knows what's up. And his level of questioning is a new level. On top of that, he has a undefeated record his entire adult life as a lawyer. Undefeated. Former Senator of South Carolina, Mr. Trey Gowdy. Maybe the most respectful man I've ever seen interviewed in my life. Anytime a woman interviews him, she says, Trey Gowdy, blah, 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 South Carolina, nice to have you. What does he say every time? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Happy to be here, ma'am. This guy's like 50. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. A very, very good guy with a very stupendous track record for being a lawyer. I mean, he's off the charts. When it comes to being a lawyer, he got that down. And as a gift of that, he just happens to be one of the smoothest people I've ever heard talk. I mean, he's just so smooth. he is very genuine as far as that goes. He's a genuine individual. So how do we know Gowdy is a patriot? Well, I think it's been shown to us, like I said in the Q drops. His record is a wonderful thing. Coming into defending President Trump. But I think we know, or okay, put it this way. We've been told he's a patriot. So we should what? Trust but verify. I don't think he's done anything to make us not verify or the trust that he's a patriot thus far. And now the fact that he has been taken in by the Trump administration, not under the government, but as a personal lawyer to look into this, probably with Rudy Giuliani. I don't know. I think seals the deal as far as his patriotism. And I think between Trey Gowdy and Giuliani, you would not want to be anybody even close to having to take on these two guys together. I mean, you want to talk about having 100% of all bases covered? Put a legal team together of Trey Gowdy and Rudy Giuliani. And while all this is going on, you have all of this investigation going by John Durham that's about to drop. Now, listen, you can say all this stuff has dropped in the past. It's blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. Nothing's happened. Listen, everything's happened. The information is getting out there. This is what's waking up everybody in the world, but especially the United States. These drops, these IG reports, Horowitz, the Comey report, everything with redacted stuff in there where you can't read it all. It doesn't matter. It's all a sampling. It is all to warm everybody up to the fact that, you know what? I'm starting to scratch my head and shit ain't making sense with what they're telling me. Now, I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about Joe fucking Blow, Joe Sixpack, who don't get to immerse his life or her life into researching out the facts and the truth. Some of the stuff's coming full circle, and these people are waking up. Part of that is the likes of Trey Gowdy coming into the picture right now. Never forget, you guys, that you're watching a movie. We've been told this. It's so much important that I remember this every day of my life as we move forward, because the future is continuously proving the past on the things that we are living day to day. There's validations left and right. If you sit here and try to put all the validations together that we've been told is going to happen and everything with the Q drops, you could lose yourself at all the winning that's going on. Gonna win so much, you're gonna wish, you're gonna beg me, Mr. President, can we please stop winning? Well, we're not there quite yet, you guys, but we're pretty close. And there's a lot of winning going on right now. And there's a lot of winning that's continuing to go on. And it is, in fact, we are going to be gluttons on winning in America. We are going to have gluttony as winners, winning because of this president. The only thing we have to do is put our support behind him. Go get him, Tiger. Go get him. That's what you're there for. Expose the corruption. Go out there and get him, man. Make it better for everybody. That is what the idealism of America is. Make it better for everybody that strives to make America be what it is, a beacon on a hill. I think most people's hearts are good. I think there's a fair share of bad people. I think a lot of people are victims of their upbringings, of their inhabitants. There's things that we can do better as a humanity to make things better all around. But we have to realize that those changes are going to come now because in fact they were designed to be exactly what they are right now, is a living hell. A destiny full of zero options. The ghettos, the boroughs, there's nothing there for them unless you are beyond some sort of something intelligence wise and can score high enough, you might break out, or an exceptional athlete, you might break out. But otherwise, these things, the projects and everything, was there by design. And I believe that these are the things that President Trump wants to abolish. I think he wants to get people moving. And if they do live in the projects, I think in the future, he wants to have the projects mean something that is more glamorous and glorious, where the projects no longer mean destitute. It means prosperity. And you see new things happening within the projects. I think that the black community will throw their arms around President Trump in the 2020 election. I think they're done with being lied to. And they have been lied to. We've all been lied to. We are as straight as any people that ever walked the earth. Strays, clueless, mind controlled, and fed their narrative. And over the course of the last 19 years, many of you have woke up, including myself, at different points in time. And many of you probably woke up well before this with inconsistencies and bullshit that you sniffed out a mile away. Make no mistake, we are in for the fight of our lives moving forward. Physically, I don't think so. I think the Q drops have alluded that we won't be, that there may be an uprising of some sorts, but pretty much it sounds like they've got it dialed in. United States Marine been activated. The reserve unit's been activated. We know this. We spoke about this. That's a big deal. I'd say if you're the deep state, you consider that a very big deal. The reserves from the Marine Corps have been put on active duty or active notice. It's going to keep, it's not to go out and shoot people, okay? It's to show their allegiance and the strength behind the president. That's what's going to be needed. It's going to have to be a very disciplined type show of force that is backed by discipline. And I do not for a second believe it will be any person in the armed forces, doing any of the shit. I think that's how awake America really is, to tell you the truth. I think we're super awake overall, and more and more and more. When I say that, from like last week and the week before that and the month before that and the 6 months before that, when I say that more and more people are being awakened every day, think about how many people are being more and more awakened every day since the first time that I said that, how many months ago, maybe even a year ago. Nothing, and I quote from Q, nothing can stop what is coming. Nothing. No one escapes. Well, we'll just see what that means, right? Yes, sir. First of all, man, you got to keep yourself relaxed. Keep yourself relaxed. And while you do that, yeah, I was going to grab a beer, but maybe I've been on long enough. 40 minutes, that's pretty long. I do have more on my list. All right. Whatever. I'm going to just keep going. All right. So we got off Trey Gowdy and that little whatever that was. Let's talk about the wall just for a second. Just for a second. I want to talk about the wall, not because it's sexy and glorious and magnificent and huge, not because it's any of those things. I want to talk about it because of what it actually represents. It's a deterrent. It's there. It's huge. It's magnificent. You can't climb it. We advertise that the only way to get around it is to go under it or go through the legal port of entry. We know about how deep they are. What I was thinking is that since we were broadcasting this on national television, that you'd have to dig down like 6 feet plus whatever you needed for clearance to get under it because of how deep the concrete is poured. It's like 6 feet, maybe it's 8 feet, maybe it's 5 feet. I don't know. But let's say it's whatever distance that is. I mean, if all you have to do is touch your foot into American soil, these people in Mexico or whatever should put big backhoes right next to the fence and dig down as deep as they can on the Mexican side and then hone it out and then give these people some shovels for the last little half a little meter and they can break through and they come out and they're captured, carry, and release. I mean, what are they going to do in the USA? They're going to like bulldoze a bunch of boulders as soon as they start seeing like that gap opening, like, oh, too bad. Sorry about your luck. Shouldn't have dug a hole. I mean, what are you going to do? So my whole point in this is not to shit on the wall. I'm not shitting on the wall. It's beautiful. It's the perfect deterrent that's needed. But the real prescription that's going to cure what's going on in our border is it's going to be a change in the laws of what we do with people that are seeking and looking for asylum and coming here under the pretenses that they are. The Democrats need to come with something. See, they're in a double-edged sword is what they're in. The people that are coming into this country illegally and invading the country, and really, I don't blame these people because if I was in their conditions and somebody said, come on up, let's go, come on up, America will take you. Barack Obama said that. He invited them up. These people were coming and they were listening and they were coming hard and heavy coming up. And then Trump said what he said and things slowed down. But these are the people that vote for Democrats in the elections because these are the people that get the checks as illegal aliens, get the checks to spend and be in America. And it's a lot of freaking money what they get. It'd be a lot of money for a lot of people, maybe even for you. I'm just spitballing. It's like $3,000 a month just for living expenses. It's like so many, like $800 or $1,000 per child that you have per month. On top of that, you get a housing allowance that pays for the house. I mean, for some people, that's balling, man. That ain't bad. If you could have that break in life, how good would your shit be? So we can't do it. We can't bleed America dry. We can't do it. So we can't allow these illegal immigrants to get in here and continue to vote for the Democrat Party. They're screwed. They're done. I don't know if you see it right now. I see it. The Democrat Party is screwed. There is no candidate that they can put up that will mean anything to anyone. I don't care who it is. I don't care if they wanted to run Barack Obama himself again and said, fuck it, we're running him. The truth is out there. It's done. It's exposed. This part of the plan has reached a point where it can't come back from. The D5 avalanche is in full effect and about to just smash into the town. The Democrats know it. The deep state knows it. And pretty much the entire world knows it. Especially you guys know it. And I freaking know I know it. I definitely know it. Stuff's going down. Chuck Grassley. Oh, he's one of my favorites. He was the Senate Judiciary chairman all through the Kavanaugh hearings and all that shit until the midterm elections. That's when he stepped aside. And that's when Lindsey Graham took over. But Grassley, he's from Iowa. And this man is a farmer and he's into farming and he loves to farm. And he knows a lot about corn as much as he knows about the law. And there's been a theme running talking about the great harvest. It's almost time for the harvest. And the likes of people like Devin Nunes is involved, who is a big, big name in what's been given the information about everything to do with the Russian Christopher Steele dossier, all of that. Devin Nunes will be immortalized when this is all said and done as a congressman from California. He's a phenomenal human being. But on top of that, he happens to be a farmer also. And so Grassley and Nunes, they're talking about how this is basically going to be the corn that didn't get shucked, for people like you and me on the 4th of July. This is feed corn. And they showed pictures of the corn and it started to dimple in, which is an indication that the corn is ripe for harvesting. That's when they want to harvest it, is when the kernels all come all the way out and then started to dimple back in, like it's recessing some of the